Welcome to the Doggy Dan podcast show, helping you unleash the greatness within your dog.
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Doggy Dan from the onlinedogtrainer.com video website. Thanks ever so much for tuning in to this podcast, show number 8, which is all about when dogs bite owners. So that's the title. It's a pretty serious topic, but it's a very different topic from sort of the other dog aggression towards other dogs or other people. It's actually when your dog is actually aggressive to you. And inside the show, I'm going to help you explain a whole load of stuff I'll touch on in a second. But before we kick off, basically a little reminder, the show notes for what I'm talking about here can be found at www.doggydan.com/show 8, or go to doggydan.com and do a search. So what is coming up? Well, first of all, I want to basically touch on the most common reasons that dogs will actually bite their owners, because you can sort of narrow them down into, I think I've narrowed it down into maybe 4 groups. Obviously, there's a few other little areas where dogs may bite, but I've categorized it into 4 different areas. And what we'll do is we'll touch on them, but then we'll have a look at how it all works in the wild, because with this topic especially, I think this is a great example of a topic where you have to understand dog psychology for any of this to make sense. And the solution as well is all about dog psychology. It's not really, this sort of issue cannot be solved by a little piece of chicken or treats, that sort of thing. It's about dog psychology. So we'll touch on how it works in the wild and how all those issues, all those common reasons that dogs bite, how they sort of, how it all works in the wild and why it's totally tied in to sort of your dog's innate behavior. Not that we can't stop it, we certainly can. That's what this podcast is all about. Thirdly, I want to touch on something which is what I call the lethal combination. It involves 3 things, and you do not want to mix these 3 things together. Sadly, it's probably one of the most common causes of serious dog bites. So we will touch on that. And then topic 4 and topic 5 are part 1 of the solution. I'm calling it a life-saving rule, because if there's one rule other than avoiding the lethal combination, if there was one rule, it would be this rule, which will really keep you very safe. And topic 5 is part 2 of it, which is the real dog psychology part, the bit I absolutely love. And I'm holding that till the end, not because I want you to listen to the whole podcast. I'm not trying to trick you into listening to the whole podcast. I think you can skip to the end if you want to. I wouldn't do that, though, because there's lots of juicy bits in the middle. But if I do it this way, then when I give you the solution at the end, it'll all make so much more sense. So that's what we're going to go through, all about how you can make your dog so much more tolerant, and how you can make tolerant dogs almost bomb-proof. So, topic number 1, let us get started. The most common reasons why your dog will bite. And I'm also I must remember to include the little bite that I got. I think I've been bitten, is it twice? I've had 2 little bites. And I certainly want to talk about one of those. So, the most common reasons why dogs bite. First of all, it's when food bones. I put down toys as well, although it's not quite so. Dogs don't seem to trigger quite so much with balls and sticks and toys and stuff like that, but they can do, and it would probably fall under the same category. But food, basically. Dogs very often will bite. I say very often. I'm not saying lots of dogs will bite as a percentage, but certainly dog bites can occur if you do the silly thing, such as stick your hand in the dog's food when your dog is eating. Now, there may be loads of you saying, yeah, but Doggy Dan, my dog's great. You can take the food away from them. That's fantastic. Look, there's always exceptions to the rule. And in this case, all 3 of my dogs, you can remove the food whilst they're eating. And that's fantastic if you've achieved that. And I do talk about how to achieve that, especially with young puppies or older dogs, in my video website. I've got videos on exactly that, the training of dogs to be tolerant around food. But I just want to point out, these are the big reasons why dogs will